Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. I'm in the lab today, so I'm cooking up something that I talked about on last night's live streams. That's right. Housing prices are going to drop, ladies and gentlemen. They've already started to drop, but I'm about to show you the numbers. Some things you need to pay attention to because they may be some of you out there that's sitting there going, I want to buy a house right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the point I'm trying to make is definitively do not buy a house right now, and I'm going to give you reasons why. Of course, you might be sitting there going, I don't want to waste money on rent. But at least if you rent, you're flexible. You have options. And we're going to talk about a lot of that. And welcome. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page and everyone else that's here. Thank you so much for being here, and please share the videos. You never know which topic that we're covering here that other people can find useful info. All right, let's get into it. Now, first, I have to show the join button over here on the right-hand side. That's how you become a member of the channel. Like you see, our members, thank you, channel members. That's different than being a subscriber. That means you actually support the channel with your hard-earned money. Check out the different memberships available, and you receive special messages under the community tab, and you can join me on any one of our live streams because you have a special link that's under the community tab, and you receive 1 or 2 videos per month. Now, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you the catalyst on why the housing market is going to go down. There's several facets, but the number one facet is if you can't put your money into the stock market and there's a recession, that means, along with inflation, that means the Federal Reserve is going to have to increase their federal funds rate. All right? That also means your loans or any debt that you're holding may increase as well. So when you're out here looking for a mortgage, all of a sudden, this isn't last year where you could have walked in and got a 3%, 3.5, 3.8% loan. Now you're going to be near 6%. And in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be even worse because they're going to raise it up either a 0.5, 0.75. They don't have the balls to do 1 percentage point. So it's going to be falling somewhere between 0.5, 0.75. And we'll know shortly when Wall Street starts telling you what they would like. What they would love, all right? Then you'll know. You'll know 3 or 4 days or 7 days before when Wall Street starts talking. But this doesn't matter to us here in the SSN Nation. The reason why it doesn't matter is because this is strategic, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to be the fool of the party. You don't have to be played, all right? I'm going to show you what happened as people were part of the frenzy as the housing market was going up and they were saying, let me jump in. Because, you know, people are greedy when it comes to money, when you can get free money and they're saying, hey, you know, my house went up 20% last year. You're like, oh, my God. And then another year comes and they go, my house went up another 20%. Well, then what happens? People start going, oh, my God, I'm missing out on this free equity. Let me go buy. Now, here's the catalyst or one of the catalysts on what's going to happen in the future and happening now. 2022 has been the worst year for markets so far, because we're only in September 1st now, in at least 50 years, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? The markets, meaning the stock markets. So nobody likes stocks going down, especially the top 10 percenters, because that's where they hold most of their money. So now they have to sit there and take it. They have to eat a little bit of it and say, okay, no worries. It's going down. I'll buy it when it goes down some more, because we know one thing about the stock market. Over time, it's going to come back and even go higher. We just don't know when it's going to come back and go higher, right? So that's why some people say you should stay in the markets. But this is a real estate video, so let me get into it. Once you know that the stock market is its worst in the last 20 years, once you know there's a recession, that means GDP has gone down 2 quarters in a row. Don't let anybody fool you, ladies and gentlemen. The GDP in 2022 has went down 2 quarters in a row. That means we're in a recession. That means the Federal Reserve is panicking. That means they're sitting there saying, hey, hold on, our food, our energy bills, everything's going up too much. The Federal Reserve, 9%, 8%, that's what they're claiming. We all know it's 20%, 25% or higher year over year. Now, that in turn means that there's going to be some pain, ladies and gentlemen. All right. If you want these articles to read for yourself, I'm going to have links down below to all these articles. All right. Here it is. Last month, the Federal Reserve's inflation fight could bring pain and job losses, warns Powell. You guys know the shot across the bow a couple of weeks ago. That's when he said this. All right. So that means the pain he's talking about is he's going to have to increase interest rates, the federal funds rate, which now means mortgages for homes are going to go higher. There is no way around it. They've already made a commitment. I don't even know why he even came out here and talked about this. Again, trying to get you guys all faked out. He already said 2 months ago, definitively, they are going to raise interest rates until the end of 2022. That was already definitive. So them coming out after their board meeting and talking like, hey, the pain's gonna come. We know the pain's coming. That's what we're loving about this, ladies and gentlemen. You better get excited. I'm excited about this because you have another chance to change your life, because the top 10 percenters are messing up. You guys know I've talked about this for years. You have to take advantage when they mess up. You don't join their party when they mess up by them telling you, oh, home prices, they went 20% year over year. You better get in now. No. You let them prices come falling, tumbling down, right to where you need to buy them at, 50% off. I like 50% off sales, don't you? Especially when it's, well, let's just call it what it is. In America, this is the #1 purchase for most people in America in their lifetime is the home. 250,000, 300,000, 500,000, 700,000. That's going to be the most asset liability that you can purchase. All right. And notice I said asset liability, because that's what it is. You're paying for it. That's why we have to have the passive income talk 2022 that I have the other videos for, because you need passive income to pay for that liability. Then you can have that lifestyle that you want, right? You don't have to go to a job and live paycheck to paycheck. Now, I wanted to show you this. 72% of recent home buyers regrets about their purchases. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, come on, guys. Don't be in denial here. This is August 23rd article on CNBC. Don't be in denial. They surveyed some people. The people are all like, hey, I bought a house in 2021. I bought a house earlier in 2022. They went around and started seeing some of their homes in the neighborhood are going down 5%, 10%, and then they overpaid. A lot of these people on average overpaid by 13%. For $510,000. That's incredible when you really start thinking about it. All right. So here it is right here. I'll just show you. First time timers paid a medium of $510,000 in 2021 and 2022. 13% more than the $450,000 that repeat buyers paid. Okay. You understand. That's $60,000 difference between $450 and $510 for repeat buyers versus new first-time buyers who got all caught up in the euphoria, and they're sitting there putting in a second and third offer, trying to beat out this other person for a home. A home that most people in America move out of a residence on average during their lifetime every 7 years, ladies and gentlemen. Bet you didn't know that, did you? This isn't your 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s no more, ladies and gentlemen, where somebody's going to be working 20, 25 years, maybe even 30 years at the same job. And then they pay for their house along the way, and then when they retire, they have a pension fund, or they're getting some money from their retirements, and they live in their paid off home. Those days are pretty hard to do when home prices are $4, $5, $6, $7, $800,000 and businesses are going out of business. We've already had the Great Recession. We've already had a COVID situation, and we had other COVID scenarios since the 2000s as well. It's going to be another disaster coming up sometime in the next 3, 4, 5 years. You can count on it. And the disaster that's coming up next year is real estate, and you're going to be able to take advantage. So there's no reason for you to sit here right now and say, I've got to buy, I got to buy, I got to buy. Unless, let's just get this straight. Unless, of course, you run into something where a guy says, I'm selling this house at a 30 or 40% discount. If you found something like that, then you better pounce on it. But if you're trying to pay retail prices, oh my gosh, stay away, ladies and gentlemen. Here's this. Overall, nearly 1/4 of all buyers weren't satisfied with the home buying experience. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of you may not know, but because you missed a live stream, Mr. Wilson Koo is a lender. He does loans, and he told us about a subject matter we were talking about. There's these people that went in and overpriced their bid, so they paid it, and they said, okay, instead of buying the house for $480, I'm putting in another offer at $510. They went in. This year, they went in, and some people take 30, 60, 90 days for closing. Before you close, the appraiser and the person that's going to be doing your loan, they usually send out the appraiser again. There's been 5, 10%, even more drop in the appraised value from when the person was able to get the loan. All of a sudden, the lenders are going, if you want this loan, you're going to have to put in some more money. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The price went down, but you got to put in some more because the evaluation is lower. So just think about that for a second. Not because the price is higher. They're saying, we're not going to give you this loan. The house is only now worth a little bit less. And you got to understand, mortgage companies are going to be going out of business. Banks are going to be going out of business because they can't allow people to get these loans for overpriced housing like they did in 2008. If a house drops 20% from 500 down to 400,000, you're going to be hard pressed. You're going to be upset. You're going to sit there and go, man, I had to put down 20%. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, those 10% downs. If you can find it, you probably have a 760 credit scoring up. But 20% is the norm for down payments. You're going to be upset. You put down $100,000 on a $500,000 house. You find out months later the house is worth $400,000. You're going to sit there and be like, wait, I just wasted $100,000 cash. And now my house is only worth $400,000 and I'm paying mortgage for $400,000. You're going to feel a little salty. You're going to even feel saltier when that house drops to $300,000. Because now you're going to be like, damn, I bought this house for $500,000. It's down to $300,000. People have their homes for sale. They're losing them. They're going in foreclosure. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's 2023 coming up. You only have 4 or 5 short months. Powell's going to raise the interest rates 2 more times. That means less people can buy. So it's going to end up being more sellers on the market. They're going to be panicking because their equity is being dissolved right before their eyes. They can't get out to get that equity. And then it's just going to continue to drop down. That's why I have to make this video again, because I don't want to hear anybody saying in 2023 they didn't get warned. All right? Because nobody else out here is telling people when to buy. I'm telling you when to buy. When it gets down to 40% or less, then think about pulling the trigger, because you've already taken out a whole bunch of equity. If a $500,000 house goes down to $300,000, you need to start paying attention at that point. Nobody's saying pull the trigger at that point, because I'm just going to tell you, I'm bragging about it right now. I'm saying home prices are going to drop 50 to 60%. So if you buy at 40, cool, but you better not buy now and then your house drop 40% or 50%. You're not going to really like that. All right. So all I'm saying is, why not wait? Why not just see what happens? All right. Now, let's go and move into your competitors, because there's some people out here still trying to make sure that you buy homes because they're making these nonsense statements. They're saying things like, oh, you know what's going to happen. You don't have to worry about the real estate going down because these hedge funds, they're going to come in and buy these homes. Oh, you mean like they did before? They're the ones that bought these houses and propped up the market when you were in a major city and you were sitting there going, man, how could I went $30,000 over asking price, but I still didn't win the bid. So then all of a sudden you find out the house sold for another $20,000 above that, and you're like, how is this possible? Who would do that? Because you can't get a loan for higher than the appraised value, right? So who has to put in the extra money when you're bidding more than the asking price? You do. But in this case, those hedge funds, those REITs, they were overpaying for the homes. So you know what happens when somebody overpays for a house or a home and the price goes down 20%? They don't feel like they want to carry that anymore. They don't feel so good and fuzzy about that. Especially when they turned around and used that property for collateral to get more loans to go buy some more homes. Are you guys getting the picture? So this is what flipping did with Zillow and Opendoor. Q2 last year, Zillow, why they're no longer in the home flipping business, $83 million loss from flipping Q2 of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, last year, 2021. This is 2022. But this is what happened. Even in an economy where the home prices were going up 20% year over year, how do they lose 83 million flipping? Like I'll tell you right now, in case you guys aren't up on it, this is what you have to be on the live streams. You never know. Here's the discussion we have to have. Remember I just said $500,000. You put in that bid. You find out, oh no, somebody outbid you. Next thing you know, that's somebody, Zillow. Next thing you know, you put in a bid for $535. You wait a few days. You hear back. You go, oh, your bid isn't high enough. You go to $550. All of a sudden, you hear back, oh no, the seller accepted somebody else's offer. Of course, they're not going to tell you how much. You find out a week or so later, it's on Zillow, it's on MLS saying pending, but you really don't know the price possibly, but you may find out. You find out they bought it for $600. And you're like, what the hell? The appraisal's $500. Well, what you don't know is they already bought 10 other homes, 15 other homes for $500. When they bought that house for $600, that created $100,000 equity for all those other homes they bought. So they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about trying to figure out how to get their bottom line, because they're saying, you know what? It doesn't matter because the housing price might go up another 20%, so we'll be covered. We don't have to worry. And then we'll turn it into where somebody can get a loan from us. Somebody will be using our services. We'll tack on a few extra points and fees when they get a loan or when they go through our mortgage process. And so they thought they were winning until the housing prices aren't going up and you've already overpaid. You're responsible for the 20% increase year over year. So the hedge funds now, they're panicked. They're sitting there like holding all these homes. There's probably millions, not that many. 15% of the market was bought by REITs, hedge funds, Zillows, Opendoors. Now, speaking of Opendoor beat them. They lost $144 million. And some of you now are down here in the Southeast, right? And you're sitting there going, man, I see an Opendoor sign everywhere. Yeah, now you know why. Some of them people are actually accepting. Some of them Opendoor was buying and trying to do the flipping game. They're still in the flipping game. Redfin won't tell us what they're doing in the flipping game because you know why? They're on the stock market. That would affect their stock, so they're just going to be mum about it. But they're losing too, ladies and gentlemen. They created the price increase, the bubble. Some people got caught up in it because all it took was 15% of the houses Just think about it. Just like I said, all you needed was one house in the neighborhood to go from 500 and be bought at 600,000. Now everybody in the neighborhood who's selling their house goes, "Oh my God, I'm going to put my house on the market for 600." And now everybody comes rushing in, going, "I better get that house." And now you contribute. The other 85% of the homes bought by individuals, you're contributing to the price increase, getting yourself stuck. All right, now the other people who didn't buy homes, you get to sit here and say, "You know what? Next year, if that house does go down 50%, I'm going to jump in." So I just wanted to point that out to you. And once again, here's Opendoor. They lost $88 million in the fourth quarter of 2022. But look at this. $96 million in the fourth quarter of 2021 alone. I'm laughing. Here's the thing. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you're being played. You have to understand the numbers. So therefore, they can't manipulate you on TV, on the internet. They're not going to be able to manipulate you because you know what time it is out here. You know when interest rates go up, that means you can afford less of a home. You understand that. I've said it several times and I've showed it several times. If you buy a home for $500,000, and the interest rate is 6%. That's $600 for every $100,000 of a loan. That's 6 times 5. That's $3,000. You haven't even paid your taxes yet. All right? So you have that to think about. Let's just add on like $200, $300 a month for taxes, insurance. You're up to $3,300. Water, sewer, garbage, $3,500. So you have to make over $10,000 per month, $120,000 a year household income to be able to buy that house. What do you think is going to happen when it goes up a full point to 7%? That's 700 times 5. Now you're at 3,500. Now you're at 4,000. Now somebody has to make $13,000 per month household income. Now you're at 150, 140,000 without any bills. If you have bills, you're going to have to make household income wise, each person on average is going to have to make $80,000, $90,000 each. Now you understand the numbers. Not that many people make as a household $200,000, $150,000, $175,000, $200,000 a year. Sure, you have millions, but you're not going to have 20 million. That's 2 people taken out. So all I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, or one person has to make that money. So again, people, the housing prices are going to come down. So now somebody's going to go, okay, 400. Well, no, 400 is not good at 7% because that's 2,800. Now somebody still has to make $10,000 per month. Okay, maybe it'll go to 300. 300 times 7, 2,100, 2,500. Now we're getting into, rental range from a condo, right? Homes are costing more for rent. So all of that are factors on reason why, if you're thinking about buying a home, stack your money, bring in passive income, get your credit right. You're going to need it because all of those factors is why you're going to be able to bust in when the home price goes down 40, 50, 60%. I'm predicting 50 to 60 is where I'm looking. But again, if it gets that low, you're going to be loving life because the Federal Reserve only has one playbook: up, increase interest rates, decrease interest rates. So the bottom line of the story is all you have to do is wait. They're going to increase interest rates, and then they're going to decrease them to spur the economy. All right? And then it's going to be down to 5%. 4%. People are going to be buying homes like no tomorrow. And if you think 20% year over year is a thing, wait till you see 25% year over year increases. The bubble is going to be larger than the previous bubble. And that's why you have a once in a lifetime opportunity like your parents never had. You've never had up until this point, because you're going to find yourself where you could have bought, I'll just use simple terms, $700,000, $1 million homes at 50% off. And can you imagine in only the matter of a couple of years that house could be double in value? Because you bought it at the right price. You didn't buy it at the $700,000 price like most people out here running around buying them today. You bought it at that $350,000, that $400,000 price. And so now when it goes up to $900,000, you're going to be sitting there going, man, I got $500,000 equity here. And then, you know, you're coming back to the SSN Nation saying, hey, Eric, I got 500,000 equity. I got 400,000 equity. What should I do with this? It's simple. I'll just tell you what you do with it right now. You just go buy yourself multifamily property, and then you have revenue coming in for the rest of your life. Call it a day. Travel around the world for life. It's that simple. All right. Does that sound too hard for anybody? Let me know if that's too hard for anybody. This is like once in a lifetime. You don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to start a business. You don't have to actually have to go down and ask for loans. You don't have to do anything. There's nobody going to stop you from this. All you need is the down payment. The down payment could be anywhere from 10% to 20%. So you can start saving away right now. You're still going to have 8-9 months to deal with this. Prices are going to come down, especially after they do the next one in December. And when nobody's buying homes from December through March and April, home prices should start going down more than 10, 20%. Well, they're already at 10%, 20% in certain cities, but another 10 to 30%. So I think we're going to achieve that 50% number, which is where I really think where I'm safe at. 60%, I'm just reaching. But I have to admit, from what I'm seeing, we put ourselves in the Great Depression era type of things, doing tariff wars, Smoot-Hawley Act. I just got to keep bringing this up. Smoot-Hawley Act. Our stock market's going down. It's stair-stepping down just like it's 1929. Everything is set up just like if it was in the 1920s. We had the roaring 2010s, all right? They had the roaring 1920s. Then they did tariff wars. Then the stock market started crashing, which you guys don't call these crashes. But basically, if you know the Dow Jones is down 20-some%, I don't know what you're talking about. That's a crash. So all I'm saying is it's going to continue to go down even further, because nobody's going to want to be putting their money in the stock market with stocks going down. And they can't, well, they can do buybacks still. It's not illegal. But now they're going to be paying 1% on that buyback money. It adds up. 1% on billions of dollars starts adding up. 1% on millions of dollars start adding up when you're saying, hey, I'm borrowing this money to do buybacks. Now you're using borrowed money to pay taxes too. That doesn't make sense. So therefore, you're not going to have all these buybacks to bust up the stock and make it look like the stock is performing well. So now you're going to have a deflation in the stock market, and that gives you another opportunity to pounce. Because if you get stocks right now, why not? Dividends. AGNC. That's all I'm going to stick with right now. AGNC is over 12% annually, 1% per month on dividends, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You heard me. Safely. And then last night we talked about one which I surely should have mentioned before. JP Morgan. They're one of the Fed banks. JEPI. That's their ETF, ladies and gentlemen. They're giving dividends of 9.74%, which isn't nothing to sneeze at, but I'm saying JEPI might even have went down today. That means that dividend from what you put your money into would be higher. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the juice I can give you today. But I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's why I'm giving you the playbook early. You have an 8-month, 7-month, 6-month head start. Put in your Zillow. Go to Redfin. Go to Trulia. Put in Zillow. Whatever you want to put in. Pick the place that you want to live. Where you think you can't live. The price is out of reach apparently right now. But just pick that neighborhood, because the more upscale the neighborhood is, the higher the price will rise when they reduce the interest rates in a year and a half from now. All right? That's the secret. You want to buy high-end neighborhood, high-end property, because they go up the most. If you buy in a lower-end neighborhood, sure, you might find a house that's very cheap. But when you start doing the numbers, they come back, they're not going to appreciate as much as the better neighborhood, the better built homes, and the newer built homes that are the better built custom type homes, okay? So what you're looking for, I'm just going to give you the whole playbook. 700,000 in most places, 600,000, 500,000 in most places are still very good homes. But what you want, the gated community, you want to live in that neighborhood, lawns are taken care of, everything's done in that community. You want to make sure the house is custom featured, semi-custom even, something along that line. You want to make sure That's where the neighborhood is that people say, oh, you live there. That type of neighborhood, because that house, if you are able to buy that house for 500,000, it's going for 1,000,001 or 1,000,000 right now. That means that house will be worth more than 1,000,000 in a few short years. You'll have all of that equity versus if you buy a house for 200,000 and the house doubles to 400, that's 200,000 equity. This is how they keep you poor, ladies and gentlemen, because while you're out here going, I got a deal for this 200,000 or $150,000 house, it only goes up 300,000. It doubles, or the 200 goes to 4. That's still only 200,000 equity. But if you would have bought that $500,000 house, and now all of a sudden that house is worth $1,000,000 and you have $500,000 worth of equity, that means you can go down here and buy yourself a hotel. That's right. Go search the channel. You can get funding and financing for it. But just for that, you can go buy multifamily properties, get yourself an FHA, 3.5% down. That'll be back. All right. 4% down payment after fees and everything. And then you collect the money. That's going to pay for your new $500,000 house that now appraises for $1,000,000. And that's going to pay back that loan, that line of credit, or that home equity line of credit, or that refinance money. That's how you're going to pay it back, because you're going to take out that 250,000, 300,000. You're going to go buy yourself an apartment building, not a single family home. You're going to buy yourself apartment, anything up to 4 units, FHA approved, 4% down, and now you're in the money. And that extra cash that you're going to have sitting on the sideline, you can invest it in other assets, such as the stock market, for instance. All right? Be safe. Collect your 10% a year or 12% a year on your money. All right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with all that said, keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.